What the fuck?
I'm the
You
villain
boosted
and I'm
the DA
speaking in a
shit.
weird voice.
Got my money? Burned the evidence? All that?
I'm just trying to help. Get away from her.
See, she
said
just
shut the fuck up!
dick. He's beating up two women.
No.
Go to your fucking happy place.
Run.
Let this be a lesson, kid. Make good life choices, or you'll end up like
Oh
her.
god. Yeah.
Now.
I had to mention that.
What do I do with...
Damon,
Hey asshole.
what did you do?
I fought up a bullet.
I fucked you up good.
See, you should
didn't
probably
I?
show a bit more gratitude
Guess
to
you really
Chloe.
don't know when to
She's
quit.
just kind
Had
of
to see
brought
you
your
back
way
on
out
your feet.
of everything.
Chloe,
Frank.
Yeah, kind of a weird story,
you
Frank.
don't really want to do this again, do you?
We're gonna rumble again, buddy.
Hey. Then I don't want to do this again. Come on, man.
Fuck you.
Sarah. Rachel. Your daughter. She.
Well spit. Does that say Arcadia Bay Grunge or is it Garage? I didn't actually pay much attention to that.
Sarah?
Chloe Price.
You know who I am?
I saw you in the play.
Oh yeah, of course you did.
You were funny.
Nah.
Thanks.
Yeah, of course you did. Duh.
Sit.
She even sounds a bit like Rachel.
Sarah. Are you okay?
We need to talk about what happened.
I am so sorry for
Rachel can never know.
What exactly can't Rachel know?
What James did. Hiring that thug. Shooting me up with...
He's a piece of shit. And I promise that
Rachel can never know.
That's bullshit, Sarah.
You're not listening.
Rachel deserves to know what happened to you.
No, she doesn't.
You don't exactly
Rachel
have to.
deserves a loving father. A father who cares
You don't
for her.
exactly have
James
to
is a
tell her
lie.
that
James
part.
is a desperate man who loves his daughter. And she loves him.
But did he
Tell her
do
what
it for
happened
Rachel
here.
or did he do it for
And
himself?
you'll take them
That's the
away from
question.
her. Forever.
For the first time, maybe, but yeah, he even didn't really tell us the whole truth on that. See, I get what Sarah's saying here, but you don't. She still want. You must know that she wants to meet you. Okay, you don't exactly have to mention what James did in this whole scenario. You don't have to mention that if you don't want to. If you're worried about her losing her family or whatever that she's had, you can still meet her and not tell him that if you don't want to.
And just what is James protecting her from? You? She wants to meet you, Sarah.
No, she doesn't. She wants to meet her mother. I can never be that for her.
See what happened in the amount of time, which is probably like a day. What happened in a day or two for her to change her tack here? Because this is... If she's going to change tack, then that means we've wasted our time in this whole thing. It's a waste of time, because now Cher is changing tack and saying, oh, she deserves to be a mother that I can never be. And you've been chasing her for years. So now, why are you changing tack now? Was it the traumatic experience with Damon, maybe?
Why are you saying all this?
Because James is right. He's taken something from me that I might not ever get back.
You don't know until you try.
But he's right.
He is, but you don't know until you try.
I'm broken.
I mean, you're not. I mean, you kicked that shit for a year. It's like Damon said, it's hard to get off this stuff. But now you're feeling like you wasted your time because now Sarah's saying that she doesn't want to do this anymore. So you've wasted your time doing all this effort only for Sarah to now do a 180 and be like, oh, no, she can't meet me now because of all this shit. And like I said, you can still meet her and not tell her about James if you wanted. You don't have to tell her about what James did at all. You don't have to mention that. You don't have to do that at all. You can still meet her.
No, you're not. You're stronger than you realize.
You don't know anything about me.
I think we do.
I know Rachel needs you.
Yeah. And that's probably the most important thing to know.
No loss.
She does. Oh, of course they had to throw that in there, didn't they? Well, I've got to pick it. Pricefield wins over in most of these decisions, or these kind of decisions.
A couple of years ago, my best friend left me. Didn't write. Didn't call. Like I never existed.
I don't seem to remember you doing that either. You see? You know, I know what Chloe's saying. You know, I get it. But I don't see Chloe blowing up Max's phone either. She gave up after some point. You know, and like I said, even in the phone, there's a huge gap between texts. So it's not like Chloe blew up her entire phone to get Max's attention either. It's almost like she wanted Max to text first. But, like I said, no one says anything. No one gives a reason for why Max didn't call or text. And we're left with this bullshit. Where Chloe believes that Max doesn't give a damn. And I know that's not the case, but she doesn't because...
Friends
that's just it.
come and go, Chloe.
Yeah,
Not
you don't know
like this.
Maxine Caulfield, love.
We were... I thought we were gonna be friends forever.
You still are.
Was wrong.
No. No, you weren't.
You don't know what this is to me.
It's just no one told you anything,
Every
and you didn't, you know, didn't tell us
fear.
anything or make that.
Gone.
And that's why I want a
more
BTS on Max.
No more grief.
I would like one. I mean,
Why would anyone not want to feel that way?
sorry, I'm talking to Azala.
Ever.
But yeah, it's like, that's why I'd like a BTS on Max. I would like to see if Max really tried. And I'm sure she did. Because if you remember in Farewell, there is a choice you can do where it says, oh, I'll contact and I'll visit and it'll be like I never left. And then she even says, oh, and we'll even move back. And then Chloe goes, oh, chill out, we'll just go to college together. So it's like, this is something I didn't bring up, but Max probably had every intention of calling and texting Chloe as much as possible, right? And then something just hit her, and I think it was the emotional stress she was under. Was she depressed? We don't know. We can't say what went on because no one explained it, and now Chloe's under that impression, and now so is everyone else. And I'm like, what? I understand why Chloe's under that impression, I get that, but, you know, it's like, the first game clearly proves otherwise. It's just never explained why otherwise is how it is. And that's annoying.
I read your letter to James. You beat this before. You can beat it again.
No,
It's nothing to beat.
I can't.
What, does that dose put her right back on it
I
now?
recognize I might not know what the fuck I'm talking about here, but
Sorry, I'm talking about,
just-
like, stuff that isn't really relevant to the whole
I
thing,
wish
but...
you could know how amazing Rachel is.
I know.
She's fearless. She's brilliant and talented. And she feels
So that
so much.
and that would be why
She's so strong.
James
She's had a good life.
hid the letters, because the letters reveal the
Raised in a
truth
loving
that
home, given
it
opportunities
wasn't
I could never give her.
At least
She gave
talk
her
to
up.
her.
which makes sense.
She's felt like something's been missing her whole life.
Yeah, she
told me
has
so.
to do that. She has to at least talk to her. She doesn't have to mention James at all. They don't even have to talk about that. Rachel will have questions over what happened, but she doesn't have to mention that at all. But this is what I'm saying. Now you're getting pent up frustration over the fact you've just wasted your time, because now Sarah's like 180ing.
That something was you.
What was the point?
She didn't miss anything.
I guess.
She has.
I guess, to be fair, we don't really know much about Rachel's parents in the first game, so they were more like an addition, like Max's parents were in Farewell, even though Max's parents rarely did anything.
It's family.
But, it would kind of explain... why Rachel's parents aren't even mentioned. The only time they are is when Chloe says her parents are in denial. Max, I know she's missing. That's the only time they ever get really mentioned in the game at all. Probably a couple more. Maybe her file reads them. I don't even know if her file reads them, actually.
Even without all this shit, the Ambers are far from perfect.
Everyone is.
James is an elitist asshole, and Rose lets him walk all over her.
I don't think it's that.
Maybe. What Rachel needs, though, is not to have her father taken away from her.
Yeah.
He doesn't
It's
deserve...
not about James. It's not about me, and it's not about you. It's about Rachel.
Yeah.
Tell her what James did, and you'll be killing him for her. You understand that, don't you?
I get it. Because if Rachel finds that out, she's never going to want to speak to him or Rose again. And if Sarah doesn't want to be around anymore, Rachel's pretty much going to be on her own forever, aside from possibly Chloe. And maybe the canon is that Chloe tells her this, and that's how she gets into these situations that she does in the first game that I'll bring up when we get there. I never thought of it that way. Huh.
Don't you want to see her? You came here for it.
Yeah.
You got sober. You deserve the chance to know your daughter.
Nothing can
Just
change. the
shakes it
mistakes I
off.
made. I'll never get to be Rachel's mother. Not really.
I get that, I guess.
But there's one thing I can still do for her. The only thing I can do.
What changed her mind so quickly? I don't...
Let me give
Get
her
it?
the father she
Apart from the thing
deserves.
with David, I kind of don't see how
one
she
who
changed
raised
tack
her.
so quickly.
Protected her.
Basically, she
one
knows that
who
Rachel would
loves
hate
her
them,
more than
and
anything.
if she doesn't want to be there, Rachel's going to be on her own.
You can do whatever you want, Chloe.
See,
You have the power.
here's the thing
What you
as
have
well,
to decide
because it's our
is whether
decision.
you're going to protect Rachel or cause her even more hurt.
Yeah, this is our decision, and I'm thinking, would Chloe
So please,
hurt her like that?
tell her.
And I
it's
don't
never
think so
good.
either. And
Let her
I
have
think
what peace she can without me.
I'm 60% sure the canon is that she doesn't tell her, because Chloe mentioned her parents in the first
Wait.
game. So I don't know,
Don't go, Sarah.
but
I'm
yeah,
done. Here.
we just wasted our time.
Goodbye, Chloe.
We wasted our time going through all James's shit and all that just to meet up with her, and then it turns up fruitless. That's why I said at the end of the second episode, the result feels like it turned up fruitless and you wasted your time. And then in the letters and everything, she's writing how she's a doting she wants to be a doting mother of some sort and wants to come back. She came back, she got clean, she did all that, and in the last day or so, she's changed her mind. So you've wasted your time. But I really believe that the canon is that Chloe doesn't say. I really do. Because of how
Hello?
she mentions her parents in the first game. And I'm assuming they just carry on as
Hi,
normal.
Chloe. Rachel's just fallen asleep.
I know.
It doesn't matter which way you do it, even if you pick. Either way, you know, the first game was always going to happen. It doesn't matter what you do in this game, but the first game is already written and done. That's why doing prequels
Can
can
I
be
talk to
difficult,
Chloe?
especially when there's a first game
Alone?
already done.
For a minute.
The only way you could do a prequel is if you reboot the series.
Okay, sweetie. We'll
Sorry, I don't mean to be talking over it, but yeah, the only way you could probably ever do a prequel is if you reboot the series. I don't think this really needed to be done because there's not much you can influence in the game. It's like Michonne. It's like you can't influence much of what happens in Michonne. You can influence a little bit, but at the
How
end
you
of the
feel?
day, it's not going to matter.
Like I got stabbed. Doc says there'll be a sick scar. Maybe a tattoo is in order. Fuck yeah.
That makes sense. And that'll make her even more
Never
like
actually
Sarah.
escaped,
Because I think that'll be on the same arm.
did we? We've got time. All the time in the world.
That's the other reason why I
So,
believe not telling her is the
How did
canon.
everything go?
Because they never leave. Because things come up.
Rachel, I've got to tell you something.
See, this is ultimately a pointless decision, but it says it's going to be important. Important to what? What is this important to? It doesn't matter, because I think even if you tell them or not, the events that happen in the first game and what Rachel gets into kind of still happens anyway. It makes more sense telling it, like, to be fair though, making it one side is telling her everything, and that's how she gets into the situations in the first game, and that's how that makes sense. But it also makes sense picking to protect her from the truth because Chloe mentions her parents, so I have to go with protecting the truth as the actual canon ending. There's no reason to tell her anything. I mean, there's no reason to tell her, quite honestly, because at the end of the day, right, Chloe wouldn't do that. And she mentions her parents to Max in the first game. The only way telling her everything makes sense is the situation she gets into in the first game. But you could still protect her from the truth, and she still goes into that scenario anyway. So this choice is ultimately pointless. This is more pointless than the first game's final decision, because at least the final decision in the first game has a right answer. There's nothing here at all, because everything in the first game still happens. This is the problem with prequels when the first game's already set in stone. But like I said, the whole objective of this game in the first place was to just put Rachel into the game. And that was the only thing they could possibly do. Like I said, the whole Amber Price thing, the whole going and running away, it's all thrown out the window
failed you.
for this. Which ended up being a waste of time because Sarah 180'd.
I couldn't find her.
But Chloe
so sorry.
wouldn't hurt her to that degree.
You seemed so confident.
But Chloe wouldn't break up her
really
family like
thought
that
you'd
because her
find
family's all she's got.
Yeah.
Her dad might be an ass. In fact, he is an ass to take her out of the
Maybe we
picture,
can try
but
tomorrow. Maybe she hasn't.
like I
left
said,
town
Sarah
yet.
could still meet her.
Of course.
Or maybe in the timeline, right? Maybe before the first game,
Wherever.
maybe
she
a
is,
year or so much after
She
this,
loves you.
maybe she meets her
Very
again.
much.
Maybe she does eventually meet her and then tell her.
How?
That would make sense. I mean, there is a choice where she does meet her mother, apparently. You can influence that, but I'm not entirely sure how.
Because.
It's one of those, like, secret things that you have to do
Should
specific
she
stuff
be any
for.
different from the rest of us?
And I think that involves her bracelet. for some reason. I just have this feeling that her bracelet is what influences that. But you can't do that because in the first game, certain things happen to her bracelet. So, this game is just a mess. Now that I really think about it, this game is more of a mess than I gave it credit for. Now that I'm playing it again, I realize how much of a mess this game is. And I don't mean to say it's bad, it's just a mess in the continuity, that's what I mean. The continuity is now a fucking mess, where some things make sense to pick and some things don't. And obviously, Frank now will have his rougher edge from the first game because he committed that, and that gives him his rougher edge. As I said in the first, that's a plot point from the first game, but you guys have already played it anyway. But I don't know, man. And now obviously Pompidou's story will change, because in the first game it says that Frank rescued Pompidou from a bad owner or whatever, which is true. If Damon Merrick really was the owner of the dog, then that makes sense. Yes, of course they have to throw that in, because of course. I guess David really is committed. And he was, to be fair. He stuck around, you know, he's not like he left. But he just decided to be an even more... He's decided to start the first game as a douchebag. And Elliot's obviously going to get suspended because of obviously, or expelled because of his situation with the cops, because he was stupid. I would like to say that became Max's room, but probably not, because that's the boys' dorm, so... I would like to think the locker that Max has is the one Chloe left behind. See, this I don't get. Yeah, it still happens. Samantha still walks away. Now, why is that? Because we clearly told him to give him some space, so maybe Samantha found out something about Nathan she didn't like? That's the only thing I can think of. That she found out something about Nathan that she didn't particularly like, and that's why she kind of stays away from him now. Because we didn't influence that. We told him to give him some space. So I don't know what that's about. I honestly don't know. I mean, I think the other side is if you told him to help him, and he eventually warms up to her, but I don't know. See, I haven't seen it, but I think Sarah shows up at this part. I really do. I really think Sarah shows up here at some point. But I think it might have something to do with a bracelet, but that doesn't make any sense, because what happens to her bracelet in the first game is, like, if Chloe had it, right? And why would Chloe do that? Why would Chloe take a bracelet knowing that it means as much to Rachel? And obviously, I went with the tattoo in my first playthrough, because I didn't have the kiss as an option. And Sarah didn't end up there either, so it's got to be the tattoo, isn't it? The bracelet. But why would Chloe do that? And that kind of doesn't go with the first game's plot. The continuity is now really fucked because this game is out, and it's a shame. Maybe it's a good thing that Dope Nod in the end went with a whole different story, and that blue hair is just totally Max. I'm sorry, but I really feel it has nothing to do with Rachel, and it has much more to do with Max than people will admit, because Captain Bluebeard and everything. And you know, she even says when you pick it up, like, Max was gonna do that. So I think the blue hair has everything to do with Max. I think it does. I really do. Why else would she do it? You know, it has nothing to do with Rachel, because she only put the spot in her hair to match with Rachel, but then she ends up being a total, like, blue hair. It's gotta be Max. I'm sorry. It's Max. It's got more to do with Max than people will admit. And that dragon tattoo she's got is canon. That's actually canon that she does that. But they never leave either. And they never leave because of plot points in the first game. And before the first game even started, they never leave. So what was that whole build-up in the first 2 episodes about? Nothing. I still love this game, don't get me wrong, I still love it. I still love the fact that we got to reconnect with Arcadia and Chloe and Joyce and all of that. But now I've played it again, I realized so much more about it that isn't really that great. And it's the story as a whole, but the way the continuity is now messed up. I still love it. I still love that it's part of the Life is Strange universe, but at the end of the day, it's now completely fucked up the game's continuity. There's no choice in this game that really makes any sense. Like I said, the whole Amber Price thing gets thrown out, the leaving gets thrown out for a thing with Sarah, which then ends up being pointless because Sarah doesn't want to see her anymore, and she tells us not to bother telling her about what James did, so pointless. I love the song, by the way. I really feel it's more Max and Chloe again, which is really weird. I have let them go, but you know, I will bring something up that I think is really apparent at the end of the playthrough, because I think I'm not going to start a shipping war because I don't really want to do that shit, but I just think there's something in the game, or the both games even, that just defines what is better. I'm not saying Amber Price is a legit thing, I'm not saying it's not, you know, but it's like I said, most of it is the fact that Pricefield got the 5 episodes and the development and the past and everything like that. It had all the kind of signs, whereas Amber Price had to be rushed through. But even at its completed state, and what you do, like, obviously it gets more developed and then ends up being that way in the first game anyway. So, like I said, that choice is ultimately pointless, but there's just something about Max and Chloe that just kind of hits them in a way that I will bring up at that point. I won't bring it up now because it's not relevant now, but something in it just pimps it for me, and I will mention why. I'm not saying I disregard Amber Price, but I think something about Pricefield just pimps it for me. There's a very detail that makes sense to me as to why I would rather do that than anyone else. I think, you know, not to sound like a douchebag, because, you know, that's not my intention, but there's just one specific detail that I will mention in the first game that I feel just pimps it for me. And I might have already mentioned it, but in Farewell, you know, with how Max feels and everything. But yeah, I'll mention it more when we get there. But I don't know, man. Now I've played this game again, I just realized how much of a mess it is in some regard. It's still a Life is Strange game in the Life is Strange universe, and that's great. But the whole thing is just a mess. It's a mess, the original game's continuity, and it makes it a good thing that Don't Nod decided to do a brand new universe. You know, and even though I would love a Max in Seattle kind of story, if there was ever a Before the Storm 2, I don't know. I mean, it would probably even muck up the continuity even more. You know. So maybe they won't, I mean, I did hear rumors about it, but I don't know. I don't know if it would make any sense. Even in the Rachel and Chloe storyline, it makes no sense. The game ends in a minute with cutscenes that kind of tell you what's to come, and we've already, like I said, at the end of the first game in the last episode, we get explained a lot about how Rachel became to be how it was in the end, you know? So I don't think a Before the Storm 2 is needed unless they want to do something with Max, but even then, is that really needed? And I don't really want this timeline to be messed up anymore. Now that I'm really thinking about it, you know? I said that at the end of the last episode. I would love that shit, but at the same time, it's like, do I want the continuity to be messed up even more than it already is? I was going to read the last pages of the journal and completely forgot, but never mind. We'll probably do that before we leave. We'll probably just boot up the final scene quickly and just read it real quick. But yeah, the final choice just seems ultimately pointless, because either way, Rachel will get into the situation she finds herself in, and into the kind of ties with certain characters that she finds herself in. You know? She'll still find that. It'll give it more reason if you pick to tell her everything. But like I said, if you protect her from everything and you get the part where Sarah turns up, which I believe happens, I really believe now that you protect her. Sarah goes to finally meet her. She probably gets over whatever she's feeling at the moment. She finally says, right, I'm going to meet her and I'm going to tell her whatever she needs to hear. Rachel finds out, or maybe Rachel finds out about him on her own. Maybe see, there's another thing, you know, it's Rachel maybe finds out the thing on her own. Maybe her mom and Rose and her dad go out and she goes into the office and like does everything. Chloe tells her where all the points are and she finds out herself. I'm not angry, I'm just like kind of getting a point across, you know? Yeah, but that whole "you are my best friend" thing, I just think more Max and Chloe than Rachel and Chloe for that song. I don't know why. Oh man. Don't get me wrong, I love the game, but the way it was handled is not great. It's not great, to be honest with you. I love the game, but it could have been so much better handled, in my opinion. Because it just makes the whole continuity now a mess, you know. Because like I said, the way you probably get to meet Sarah is taking Rachel's bracelet. Because I had the tattoo and the kiss didn't work. The kiss was short anyway. I don't know how that fucking works, but you know, so it's only taking her bracelet, which you then probably give to Sarah. See, that could make sense. That could make sense. You take the bracelet from Rachel, then she gives it to Sarah, then Sarah meets up and gives it back to Rachel. And then Rachel does her thing, and then it ends up in the season 1 as another thing. My god, what is the canon of this fucking game? Seriously. I know it's a make your own story, but generally when it's finished, they kind of reveal the real canon of it much later. I don't know, man. I really do think, now that I think about it, I said at the end of my first playthrough that even though Before the Storm wasn't as good as the first game, they're pretty much broke even. I don't really think so anymore. I think the first game is miles better. It's handled better. And even though the ending is bullshit, in the case of, you know, what happens, you know, at least that one choice is the right choice and the correct choice and has some weight to it. There's nothing in the final choice in that game that makes any sense. You know, the first game just handled the relationships right, it handled the characters right, the locale was right, the story was right up to the end. I mean, yeah, the only thing I found bullshit was the ending, but that was because of my personal feelings more than anything else. It didn't mean the game was bad, or the ending wasn't bad. It was just like that was more of a personal thing from my point of view, you know. But in the grand scheme of it, the decision you make at the end of the game, the right decision is the right decision for a reason. But yeah, I still love this game, but I really do feel the first game is probably miles better now that I've played this again. I still don't dislike it. I just think the first game handled everything so much better than this one did. And the more people didn't tell Rachel the truth, actually, which I wasn't expecting, to be fair. So Kill the Planet with the 17%. I'm in the minority there. It doesn't really matter. David's photograph 90-10. Drew's money at the start of the day 67%. That's for a lot of people. Some people actually had donated his money, kept his money. Yeah. So par with Drew over the pudding is 17%. Played tabletop with Mikey, so that's only if Mikey gets injured, so that's bullshit. That's something you have to kind of find out about. Didn't donate to Virus Fund 96%, 3% donated $1,000, and 1% donated $250. You revealed to Damon that Fonda was the snitch. More people said Sheldon. But I don't understand how Sheldon could be. He was indoors at the time. Unless they're talking about a different incident, but I don't think so. That's why I tried to figure out earlier. What incident was this? This has to be about the incident at the start of the game when Damon smacked someone in the face, surely. Because that's the only one I saw. What the fuck? This is fucking stupid, this whole thing. Rachel didn't meet her mother, 81 to 19%. So yeah, you can get Rachel to meet her mother, and the way doing it is by the bracelet, and you probably give her the bracelet, and then they meet at the lighthouse. Pretty convenient that they meet at the very fucking lighthouse that's a big thing in the first game. That's convenient. Oh my god, this game. Makes no sense. And now Chloe has a classic outfit. See, I didn't wear the classic outfit in my first playthrough because it just felt really jarring. You know, without Chloe's blue hair, it just didn't feel right. It felt so jarring. And then the photos that Max finds in the first game. And then boom, you know what was coming next. This was like the biggest fucking shock ever. I was fucking stunned for like 10 seconds. Deck 9, you sneaky bitches. Of course they had to throw that in though. That makes so much sense. Now that you think about it, that really does make a lot of sense that they had to throw that in. So, say goodbye to Arcadia Bay from the bonus episode. Yeah, that does exactly what it says on the goddamn tin. And we're done. One thing I'm going to do quickly is just enter collector mode in the final... Shit, can we do that? Yeah. I'm going to enter collectible mode in the final section. I'm going to read the last page of page or two of the journal. Yeah, hopefully this won't screw it up. I think in collector mode, you only get... You don't get to affect your choices. Your choices still stay put. So let's see. So this one. I failed. I was unable to save Rachel's mom. Instead, I had to watch Damon Merrick stab a heroin needle into her neck. See the color drain from her face and hope from her eyes. And there was nothing I could do about it. I probably should be dead, but Frank showed up. Attacked Damon, if you can believe. I don't know what happened after that. I got knocked out and woke up to find Sarah sitting there. She seemed desperate to talk to me, but didn't want to talk about Rachel or meeting her. She only cared about one thing, convincing me to lie to Rachel about her dad and pretend I never found her. I desperately tried to change her mind, to tell her that Rachel needs her. No matter what I said, Sarah held strong to her argument that Rachel must never know about James. And now I have to decide what to do to tell Rachel. What would you do, Max? It's interesting. You can't answer right now, I know. You don't exist. You're a liar used to avoid reality. To keep living in the past, and maybe that's okay. Of course it's okay. I don't think I want to live in the past anymore. I want to be in the present with Rachel no matter what happens next. Well, that's complete bullshit. Oh my fucking god. Deck 9, why? Why? Because that's complete fucking shit, and you know it is. Sorry, Chloe. I don't mean to be mad at you. But, yeah, you know that's kind of... You know that's kind of BS. Really. Well, it's probably, oh shit, I just exited the fucking game. Oh well, we've done the game, so I guess we can. No, I know why she's saying that. I get it. You know, I understand that. You know, maybe she wants to move forward, but I just think with Max, it was just too hard to do. Which makes sense. I mean, let's be honest. The moment she sees her in the first game, she recognizes her. So, you know, I don't think she let go of Max entirely. Her thing was to move on with Rachel in the future, but I think if Max showed up, it would have been the same result whether everything happened to Max and Chloe or not. The second she saw her, she would have recognized her, and that's what happened in the first game. She recognized her instantly. So, I don't think she let go of Max entirely. She probably intended to because, you know, I do understand that to a point, because she got to the point where, I might as well just boot it up again so we can look at the title screen, but she got to the point where she was able to move on, and that makes sense. But I think at one point or another, you see, but that's the thing. Chloe eventually moves on herself. You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. Chloe makes Max feel worse than she should, but Chloe didn't make all the interning effort either. At one point she gave up. I don't think Max did. I honestly don't. I mean, she found two further friends, but Kirsten and Fernando are nothing like what Chloe was. Nothing. You know, Chloe decided to find solace in Rachel Amber, basically because Rachel Amber came out of nowhere and started hanging out with her, which is fine. But I don't think she replaced Max. I think she just moved on, which is fine. But Max didn't move on from Chloe. She found Kirsten and Fernando, yes, but she didn't move on at the scale that Chloe did. And maybe that's just who Max is. Maybe Max was just like that. You know, maybe that couldn't be helped. I don't know. I'm very pro Pricefield, as you guys know. Not because I dislike Amber Price or I disregard it. I totally get the whole situation with it. But I'm just so pro Max. It's just, I really feel what I said at the end of Farewell is true. I really do. And I can. And you know why I can? Because no one officially said a word. But then that means that you guys can as well. I don't know. Oh, anyway. But yeah, guys, if you guys think I'm talking now, you ain't seen nothing yet. Because now we're about to start the first game. Oh boy. That's going to be fun. But like I said, it's a good way to let go of the game and let go of the series once and for all. Well, not once and for all, but for the bigger part of me to finally move on and go into the new world that Don't Nod has created and give that game and Don't Nod the justice they deserve and give that game the chance it deserves to be explored. So it is necessary to do that game. But oh boy, you guys ain't seen nothing yet. If you think we've been discussing now, oh boy. I'm just warning you. Anyway, that's it. It would have been less than 4 hours, but I spent maybe 20 minutes trying to figure out what the fuck was what in that whole CSI scene. I might cut most of it out, I don't know, it depends. But I'll see how it looks in editing and do all that. So that's it. That is the first game of Project PC done with Life is Strange Before the Storm, including the farewell episode. So now we move on to the first game. Oh boy. Yeah, you guys ain't heard nothing yet. So until then, I leave you now, and we'll be probably right back with the first game when I ended up putting it up. In terms of putting it up, anyway, because it'll probably move straight on. Because that's the problem with Project PC. We're pretty much going to be doing all PC for however long it takes. So next will be Life is Strange, the first game, and the final playthrough of this game. The final playthrough of Life is Strange 1. It'll be the final time I play this game, and I'll sort of let go of it, and eventually we'll move on to Life is Strange 2. But seeing as that's not a part of Project PC, I'm going to hold off on that. And that'll give me the opportunity to hold off on the episodes and wait till more come out, so I don't have to play an episode and then just like be like, fuck, that was so good, now I've got to wait. Because let me tell you something, the wait between episodes, especially in the first game, was so fucking agonizing. You know, especially when it was in the final episode and you're so Pricefield OTP like I was, and the wait for the final episode was fucking like so long, and then it ended up fucking breaking me anyway. That was probably the worst thing. I waited so long and I wanted Pricefield to get a happy ending. Yeah, we'll talk about that. So for now, I'll leave you before I spoil any more of the plot. I will leave you now. We'll be right back with the first game. And like I said, guys, if you think I've talked now, you ain't heard nothing yet. But we'll save that for that point. Alright, guys, I'm going to sign off for this episode. Hope you guys have enjoyed the game so far and enjoying Project PC so far. You guys know what to do. Follow, subscribe, all that good stuff. And I will see you for Life is Strange 1. And boy, be ready. Because I'm not. Well, I sort of am, but I'm ready to talk, but not ready to play the game again. No, I will be. I'll be more than ready to do it, and hopefully let go of it for one last time. But one last hurrah to the best game of 2015. Yeah. I'm gonna go now, guys. I'll see you all later. And you know what to do, so follow, subscribe, all that good stuff. Once again, I hope you enjoyed Project PC so far. I will see you for Life is Strange 1, Episode 1, which I believe is called Chrysalis, if I remember. Yes, it is. Alright, guys, so until then, you guys know what to do. Peace out. This is Emmett Chaos signing off. Stay awesome.